Good morning everybody, welcome to the Twiss Keir auction rooms here this morning in Marshland Road, and on behalf of the various agents represented today and the Twiss Keir team in general, thank you for joining us on a cold, murky morning. Now I'm your auctioneer Dawson today, and we've got three excellent properties for you as you can see here on the screen. The first one is number 32 Belgrave Drive in Rangiora. That's been conducted today in advance of the auction day because a pre-auction bid at a level deemed acceptable by our owners has been received, and accordingly in a few moments time I will open the auction with that bid. And so accordingly folks, that means that this may be a one bid auction today, and because of that we will give you just a few moments here in the auction room to consider the price that has been bid and as to whether you wish to take it any further beyond that point. But it will definitely be sold here today on that opening bid or any bid that might be subsequently in advance of that. We also have the property at 600 Avonside Drive in Avonside with Sue Roberts, along with number 89 Vichenza Drive in Ohoka as well for you. So we go to the contract of sale. Now, because of the first property receiving a pre-auction bid, one or two of the clauses that I read out will not apply. I'll identify two those. First of all, today the vendor has specified a reserve price. This will not normally be disclosed, but in the case of Belgrave Drive, clearly it will be disclosed because the moment I announce the bid, it will be on the market and about to sell. Subject, of course, to the reserve price being reached, the highest bidder shall be the purchaser, and if a dispute arises concerning any bid, the property shall be put up for sale at the last undisputed bid. The auctioneer, of course, may, but in the case of the first instance, is unlikely to refuse any bid. No bid, of course, shall be retracted, and the vendor does reserve the right to bid through the auctioneer. Now, that will apply for the second and third auctions. The auctioneer may place bids from time to time. In the case of Belgrave, once again, there will be no vendor bidding. No, we're all ready to go here, so thank you. There will be no vendor bidding because clearly it has reached the level already at which the property will be sold. Now, I can alert you to the fact that the vendor may withdraw the property from sale without declaring the reserve price, unless it is the vendor may withdraw the property from sale before the property is actually sold without declaring the reserve price. In the case of the second and third properties, what that may mean is that if we fail to reach the reserve price in the first instance, we may well talk immediately to the highest bidder and give them the opportunity to pay the reserve price. And it's not unusual for the auctioneer to come back and announce that in fact the owner has utilised their rights under that clause to withdraw the property from sale here in the auction room and sell it directly to the highest bidder without bringing it back to the floor. In the case, of course, of the property of Belgrave, that won't occur as well. Now, the purchaser shall immediately, on the fall of the hammer, sign the memorandum recording the sale and pay to the auctioneer a deposit, being 10% of the purchase price. Now, as regards the risk and insurance, the property and chattel shall remain at the sole risk of the vendor until possession is given and taken. Now, the title and boundaries clause, the vendor shall not be liable to point out, shall not be bound to point out the boundaries of the property. Different clauses have slightly different wordings, but they all mean the same thing. And the purchaser is deemed to have accepted the vendor's title. Now, I need to alert you to the fact that at this point we have two telephone bidders for the first property in Belgrave, so that is what they will be carrying out actions on behalf of an absentee purchaser who has completed the necessary paperwork to enable them to bid. And in addition to that, no error, omission or misdescription of the property or the title shall annul the sale or entitle either party to compensation. Now, just to be aware also, buyers, that the real estate law changed in New Zealand last year, and a copy of the approved guide is required to be acknowledged, the receipt of, by the purchasers before they complete any sale and purchase agreement. We do have copies here in the auction room. If you haven't seen a copy of that, we highly recommend it, that you do study it before you commence any bidding here today, and we'll remind you of that at the start of each auction.